Thought I'd pop on here today for a little bit. Got a cat staring at me. Anyway, yeah, I thought I'd come on, say hello, tell you how I'm doing, and give you a little update on life and maybe give you some hope. Who knows? I'm here to help, but not help too much. I am, 8.5 years off of benzos, but getting off of the Remeron has been the real chore. So ever since getting off benzos, it injured my nervous system, give me brain injury. And if something's not working right, I don't care if it doesn't show up on an MRI, it's an injury. If you're having 100 symptoms, it's an injury, whether they see it or not. But anyway, so I recently tapered Remeron, which about a month and a half ago, probably a month and 20 days ago. And it was one of the worst tapers I've ever had. I would say I feel a little bit better today, but I went out for work today also, so I'm probably in for it for a bunch of days because my nervous system is so sensitized and stuff like that. So we'll see. I do plan to go to a movie tonight. My sensories seem to be okay, tolerable, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm trying to keep in that routine because I go with my girlfriend every single week, and I'd like to keep it a routine, but I can't guarantee it's going to stay a routine. It all depends how I do. If I start recovering more now, then I think I've made it through, but it's hard to say. Usually after 2 months, I usually fall into a pretty deep wave again, and then it's usually, better from there. But this has been absolutely an atrocious fucking cut. I'm cutting the same amount every month. I don't go over how much I'm on and stuff like that. All I can tell you is that I taper very slowly, but as you get lower, the percentages get higher. So I'm noticing big time. I was hoping I wouldn't because I only probably have, let's see, 3 cuts to go, and then I'm probably going to jump, but I don't know yet. But that's going to take a bunch of years because if the cuts are this brutal, I'm only going to cut once a year just so I can continue living my life. And when I do cut and I start feeling better, I feel much better than I did the last cut. So I'm hoping the same for this one. And I can live my life, rebuild my business because I get really slow right now. And my sales don't work as much as I do when I'm feeling a bit better. I'm hoping once I do start to feel better that I can get out more and enjoy the summer, but I have no idea. We'll find out. I'm hoping by the end of spring that this is mostly back to a baseline, at least close enough. We'll see. But it's like I still have to live to a point. So, you just do what you got to do. I'm not going out for work anymore this week, which is not good for work, but good for me. But then again, it's like I have to watch my mental health because being at home can get me in my head a little too much. So I'm going to have to weigh it throughout the week. And if my anxiety gets too high, I might have to go out for a bit, to do some stuff and hopefully not overdo it then. But we'll see. It's a fine line between physical and mental in this. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be on for a few minutes. But But it's been a long day, even though I made my day a lot shorter and easier than I normally do. But it was still too much. Usually I tack on about 2 or 3 more hours, but this just feels like now it's like just trying to get to do something without it making without it being 100 times worse after. And right now it does get worse, but it always kind of has to a point. Working always made, being on my feet for long periods of time always made my symptoms worse. But I'm much stronger, so like the worst symptoms are more tolerable. But not now. Now they're intense. The physical stuff is the most physical I've felt. The longer I'm doing this is like the worse it is on my nervous system. So, I've got the akathisia going, I've got the burning skin, stretching skin, pinpricks. But some things are getting better, like my head pressure is getting better again, finally. Not that it took that long, because when I first got this injury, my head pressure lasted for about 3 years or more. I don't remember. But now it's taken a couple weeks and it's already starting to get better. So that's a good sign. And plus, back in the day, I was tapering a lot of stuff and also like tapering Remeron every 2 weeks. The percentages were way less then, but I can't believe I tapered every 2 weeks. Oh my God, no wonder I felt so horrible. But one day I'll be off of it. But at this point, since like this has brought in all the intrusive thoughts and the weird mental brain and everything, I can't overdo it. And I can't just be like, yeah, I'm going to taper in 6 months. I don't know. It's too dangerous for me because my mental health is number one. I can't overdo it. You only live once, and I can't fuck it up. So I don't care what anybody tells me. I went on some other drugs after benzos because of people's advice. So I won't listen to people's advice. I'll listen to it and I will think about stuff. I always have. I'll always give people the benefit of the doubt. But I'm not going to do things if I deem it might be dangerous for me. And that's it, because it is my life and I'm the one who has to take nobody's going to take responsibility for if it fucks up. That's it. Only I have to deal with it. So, and I don't feel like suffering because somebody has a suggestion. So, I will always listen and I'll take it in consideration, but I will do the research on it because, there's going to be something out there that will make you feel better. But what is it? And doing the research to find out what people have tried and, so many setbacks and the fact that everybody's different. If something helped me a lot, it could put somebody else into a really bad place. So you got to do what works for you. My whole body is buzzing, nervous system shaking. It mostly shakes more when I'm really tired. I can feel it a little more now that I've been laying down for a bit, but especially at night, I just feel it going like this. Oh my God. I do not miss that. I used to have that all the time. Then it finally calmed down after a bunch of years. And now my nervous system is so startled. It's totally on edge. So once I know that calms down, everything else kind of calms down. My insomnia is better. I've slept the past few nights, no problem. I woke up for other issues that have nothing to do with that, but in general, I've been sleeping again, so that helps a lot. If you don't sleep, it just makes everything so much worse. Like I said, work has been okay. I'm not out long enough to have a good inventory, so it's kind of sad. But I got a lot of stuff at home I can sell. I'm a reseller by trade, so I always have a backlog of a ton of stuff I can sell, but it's usually random stuff that's kind of complicated to list online. But it's there for a reason, so I'll take advantage of that, like I have been for the past like 3 weeks. Last week I went out twice, and that was too much. I got away with it though, but it was too much. The week before I only went out once. This week I'm only going to go out once. Try to give myself a rest tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I might go out Monday, so we'll see. I have to switch around the days, for personal reasons, and I'm not a fan of doing that, but we'll see. So next week I might go out twice, see how it goes. I feel like I'm about 10% better than when this whole mess got really scary. So I guess that's better than nothing. But it's so hard to tell, because things are so intense. But the anxiety's down today, so that helps. I know anxiety in this kills the symptoms. It makes my body burn when my anxiety is really high. So I do my best to get out of my head. That's the only advice I got for that is try to get out of your head and do something else. Have a conversation with somebody. And it's more or less minute by minute with that. So let's see. But other than that, things are okay. I'm just struggling, hoping that summer works out because there's some things I want to do in June. We have some plans in end of June that are pretty intensive, and I could never go in this state. But we got April, May, and June, so 3 months. I think I'll be tolerable enough to do it then. Usually about every week I get a little percentage better. I mean, there's the days that I'm way worse, but in general, that ups and downs, it kind of goes up, down, better, and then eventually it's kind of back to baseline. Things always go up and down, but close enough to baseline to where things aren't scary anymore. That's where I'm usually at. So we'll see. I'm hoping things calm down this week because I'm giving myself some time. I've been trying to add more meditation, which doesn't seem to be helping a lot. Breathing helps. Trying to, deep breath stuff. It helps to a point. But what's been helping the most is keeping my feet up. That helps the akathisia in my legs. It's putting my feet up. My legs up. So if I'm on the couch, I put my legs on the back of the couch and just kind of sit weird. But that helps that a bit. For some reason, eating has been helping me. Like I have to eat. If I don't eat, my symptoms get horrible. So I'm not really sure what that's about. I don't know if it's a histamine thing or I don't know. But I have to eat. So I can't really say. I'm not really sure what the deal is with that. But I just kind of go with it. There's really no good answer. Hello, everybody. My diet is pretty good. I mean, I've added things in after 8.5 years that aren't as healthy, but in general, I eat eggs in the morning. Lunch, I eat like some baked chicken. I use my air fryer. If I'm out, I usually get a salad somewhere. Today I didn't. I ate like shit today. I ate some fried chicken wings from a grocery store, so can't say much for that. But in general, yeah, I eat about 4 or 5 eggs in the morning, And for a while, I was eating just 3. It just depends. Like now, for some reason, I have a lot, um, a lot of symptoms when I'm hungry, so I try to eat a little more. Chicken for lunch, dinner, it's usually more chicken, maybe some mashed potatoes. Um, I always eat before I go to bed. That's totally different for everybody, but I eat beef every day. Once I incorporated eating some sort of beef every day, I started feeling better in my head. So I usually eat a little rice and beef. Yeah. So that's pretty much my diet all the time. But I have incorporated some shittier foods once in a while. Just because, I mean, it's been almost a decade, so, whatever. And it doesn't make me feel worse, yeah. But I still watch the ingredients and stuff, so no alcohol, no anything with MSG and stuff like that. So um yeah, vertigo, I still get it once in a while, just not as much, but in this last taper I have, and I'm out on with vertigo. I will be out. Um that's scary. I don't like that because you can't do anything. Vertigo keeps you grounded. So yeah, vertigo. The one thing that helped me with vertigo calming down, well, I mean, after a taper, there's really not much you can do about it. But if it's something that plagues you, I've done like eye exercises where like I look at one thing on the side, like if I was to look, back here at the speaker and then look here, I would just look back and forth really fast and do it for a amount of time and then choose two other things and do that. And then sometimes I would do that while I'm standing on one foot, just kind of helping balance things. I don't do it while I have vertigo, but like in general during the day, I would do that a couple times a day. And eventually I noticed my vertigo wasn't as bad. So I don't know if that helps or not, but it's just something I did. It's just something I heard about. So I tried it and it seemed to work a little bit. It could just be a fucking placebo almost, but yeah, I don't know, but it worked. It works for me anyway. It helps me with just dizziness in general. But now with the spring and summer coming with all the allergies, I'm going to be super dizzy while the pollen is like super high. When the pollen is super high, I feel super high. So, it's just not a good timing with the way that this taper went. This taper went terribly. Um Like I could feel my arms burning, pressurized and buzzing. And it's like, just calm the fuck down. I don't know why what obviously the nervous system's injured. I get it, but goddamn, just relax already. It's been a long time. I've been doing this for a long time, but the continuous tapers of different drugs and Remeron being the longest now, you'd think it would just almost get easier, but it never does. Never does. Ah, but anyway, I appreciate your questions. I'm always willing to try to answer. Just because I've been doing this for so long. Things do get better. They always do. I have to tell myself that because every wave, every cut, every wave is almost equally as scary to me. So I have to tell myself, it does get better every single fucking time. And I've done this so many times. Usually my waves and stuff like that aren't this bad. But every time I'm in a really bad spot, I tell myself, if I can get through this, I can get through anything in the future. And then the future one's harder. Just because like my percentage goes higher every time I cut. Yeah, because I'm cutting the same amount, but the lower you get, the percentage goes higher. Just a fact. Like, I can't cut any smaller, so I just have to deal with the percentage getting a little bit higher. So just gotta suck it up. I'm gonna cut out of here in a minute. Get a little rest. I'm going to a movie later, so that's a testament for being in a horrible spot, but still being able to do things. So if that doesn't say something positive, I don't know what does. Last week I did, because I try to go every week. So what movie? I don't remember. I think it's a movie about somebody gets stuck in a car. It's a brand new movie. You're stuck in a car and like it tries to kill him or something. Should be pretty fun. But last week my sensories were too much. So I almost didn't go this week, but things got a couple percentages better and my anxiety calmed down, I would say like 25% today anyway. Tomorrow, that's going to be a different story, but hopefully I'll sleep tonight. So anyway, I'll leave you with something positive. Things do get better. It always fucking does. As much as I don't believe it sometimes, it has every single time in the last 8.5 years. Every time things got really bad, it got better. And eventually, in time, you start seeing things actually getting better. But sometimes it's really fucking slow. And when it's really fucking slow, you can't really fucking tell and you feel like you lost everything. But it's not true. It's a total mind fuck. And if you're patient, you'll get through this. The only times I've seen bad things happen is when people end up doing things they shouldn't be doing. I mean, I guess it's everybody's different, but lay off the alcohol. Lay it off of it. It's not necessary. And if you're benzo injured, just forget it. Forget it, because you will continually be sick until you stop drinking. If you don't need to be on another medication, don't. Because this is all stuff that hits your nervous system, whether you like it or not. So if you can get away with, these symptoms, I get it. If you have to take something once in a while, I get it. But do it once in a while. Don't do it every day. Don't get dependent on another drug if you don't have to. That's all I got. Anyway, have a great day. Do your best. And, just do your best. Try not to be scared of everything. That's one of the hardest things to do in this for me, is not to be scared of it. Because the more you're scared, the more your anxiety rises, and the more your CNS just goes crazy, and it just lasts longer. So if you can try your best at accepting this crap, I mean, trust me, I don't think I've ever fully accepted it, but moving towards it helps. So, I mean, guess who can accept this? Something that's so random that nobody knows of, nobody believes, and nobody really grasps that it exists, I don't think I've ever told anybody where they fully 100% believe me. You know what I mean? Yeah, no problem. I'm here. If you have questions, you can ask in the comments, and I try to answer them if it's something I can answer. But I've just been through it, and I'll continually be on here when I'm in bad shape. When I'm in better shape, I usually leave a message that says I'm doing a little better, and usually I go quiet for a while. My goal, and I try to say this all the time, my goal is to never be here again. And it's going to be a long time since I'm never going to be here again, but that's my goal, is to never have to be here again. I want to leave a video that says I'm doing better. If I come back, means I'm probably in a wave or something like that. But if you don't hear from me, it means I am living my life, and that means you can too. So just do your best. Forget the rest. Heard that on another podcast. It's a good motto. Anyway, take care.